Hello, Alpaca here. I am an enjoyer of toy cameras.
I just think they're neat.
I'm starting to amass a small but significant collection, and like any armchair engineer, without a real degree, but armed with a 3D printer, I modify the cameras with the spirit of a solution looking for a problem. No matter how serious my entourage of equipment has become over the years, I remain enthralled by the world of cheap, quirky, and ever so slightly inconvenient gear. If you desire pure 100% black tar nostalgia, delivered straight to your veins from your photography, you could do worse than these reusable disposables. I love their price, lightness, and ease of use. While there are lots to love about these plastic systems, everybody knows how underwhelming the image from these cameras can be. They lack the clarity and contrast of its richer and fancier multi-coated glass cousins, and they attract dirt and smudges easier than my iPad, which I'm reading the script from. Some might call this lo-fi look the charm of analog. But then again, the lenses are not the point of these little cameras. But what if they were? Would the addition of a glass lens really improve this camera? Or am I messing with a good thing? Stick around if you want to see how I did exactly just that. This is the Holga 120N. It's a medium format toy camera. These are simple, bare bones, and you can pick one up between $20 to $35. And this is the lens we'll be attaching the Holga to. This is a leaf shutter lens from a Mamiya universal press camera. It's an open secret in the 3D printed camera community that these are lenses you want if you are building yourself a homemade camera. A leaf shutter lens is great as they contain all the precise mechanical, moving bits, including the shutter in a compact package. This means if you find a way to hold a piece of film up to the lens, which the Holga does pretty well, with the two combined we'll have ourselves a simple scale focusing camera. First thing I'll be doing is disassembling the Holga to take the lens off and get some measurements. It comes with an empty spool. That's nice of them. But no thank you. I have an entire shoebox overflowing with these. And it comes with a film mask. So you want to get these two screws here, as this is what holds the lens and the shutter to the body of the camera. And once that's off, you'll find these high quality wiring for the flash. You can take this special tool shown here to safely disconnect them. I love how simple this shutter is. And here, I'm writing down the measurements and drawing a diagram for myself when I take it into Tinkercad. I started by importing a few 3D printable cameras that is already available for free on various websites. I will cite the design files in the description. I use these as a guide to validate my measurements. Of all the dimensions, the flange to film distance is the most important to get correct. This will allow the camera to focus correctly at infinity. The camera we're building is essentially a scale-focused camera. It's especially important for the distance scale written on the lens to function properly. The rest of the design includes a rail to attach and remove the lens to the Holga, and a little grip and spot for the shutter cable to rest. I like using Tinkercad, not because it's the best CAD software out there, but because it's the fastest way to get an idea from my head to a digital environment. I find it easy to sketch some shapes into the viewport whenever a crazy idea pops up into my head, and I'll have something printing in no time at all. And here it is, fresh from the oven. I printed this on an Elegoo Neptune 4 with PETG filament. I kinda went crazy with the support in the slicing software, so there would be no chance of the overhangs failing. However, this would come back to bite me in the ass, as I had a ton of post-processing to do to make all the parts play nicely together. It was also made worse by the fact I had to reprint each part 3 to 4 times to shift things around a bit to make parts fit better. Ah, the joys of 3D printing. I prepared the Holga plate by filling in the void I left in the part with light sealing foam. I'm not sure how effective this step was, but it's good as added security. And now I'm prepping the surface for adhesives. I balled up a few lint-free Kim wipes and soaked it in isopropyl alcohol and gently wiped the surface down free of debris and other grossnesses. To mate the surfaces together, I'm using some clear epoxy. This stuff sets in no time at all and works really well for these kinds of applications. Only downside I can think of is how stinky it is. Be sure to work in a well-ventilated area. Here, I'm using some clamps to hold it down gently, but not too tightly, so I don't crack the plastic on the camera. And here it is. All there's left to do is assemble the rest. Here's the lens mount after much cutting, pliering, and filing. The lens is held in place by a grub screw on the side. Now that the two halves are prepared, all that's left to do is... And now to attach the shutter cable. A quick functions check. And we're ready to go shoot after loading some film. Here's the wide version I made a couple of months ago. It's what inspired me to make this video. Anyway, here are some comparisons between the old plastic lens and the modified camera. It's not a direct one-to-one comparison, but I hope it gets the idea across. The photos taken with the old lens definitely has a Holga look that some people love and some people hate. It features heavy vignetting, smudgy spot, and a distant memory of details. Nothing new needs to be said really, but hey, for a $30 plastic camera, it's pretty awesome. If you're the type of photographer to press your nose up at the screen to get a good sniff of the pixels, this camera will bring you sadness. But then again, when are pixel peepers ever happy? With the addition of the Mamiya lens, the image is drastically different. First, for some downsides. So let me reiterate. This is a scale focused camera, so it's pretty hard to nail the focus with a shallow depth of field, and I'm still learning to do this well. Take a look at this photo of the stuffed alpacas from earlier. But except the coaster on my table is staying in focus, yeah, it's gonna take some time to master this technique. That, or I'm gonna have to walk around with a tape measure. And as you can see from this photo, there's a lumpy black border around the image. With the opening that I left on the Holga's stock plastic frame, it wasn't wide enough to let the light fully project itself onto the film at full size. So there's about a 1 by 1 centimeter loss of usable film area. So we're getting about a 5 by 5 image and not a true 6 by 6. I should have done more testing beforehand, but hey, that's how we learn. However, the lens itself works pretty well. It gives you a lot more flexibility with the choice of the shutter speed and aperture like a real camera. So you can get some really beautiful images. Here's some final thoughts if you're thinking about doing this project yourself. This isn't entirely a practical camera, as you can see, and will not work like a camera from a manufacturer like a Canon or a Nikon. I know that it seems obvious, but I have to put it out there. And why should you do this? Why did I do it? Because it's fun. That's about it. I think it's super interesting to learn about optics and building things nobody asked for, and that is part of the fun. Thank you for watching. I hope you found the video interesting enough to earn a little click of the thumbs up button, and if these wacky experiments are something you are interested in, please consider subscribing. Take care.